Imagine this. You're sitting in a chair up in your mom's old game room with a softbox light, your camera, and a $30 mic. You'd been preparing for this moment for over 3 years, and you finally got the balls to go sit down and start recording. And when you hit that play button, all you do is sit in front of the camera for over 20 minutes straight and not say a single word. I froze. I couldn't say a single word. That was me just a few months ago. I had been dreaming, but that's it, trapped inside that spiral in my head of overthinking and overcomplicating things. Every single time I was sitting there formulating, imagining, creating the content that I knew would change my life. I've seen it a million times and we've seen these videos. You start, everything will change. I would snap out of it and realize 3 years had gone by and I hadn't done a single thing. I did it all. Endless research, endless videos. I even went and sought mentors. And whether I realized it or not at the time, perfectionism and the fear of what everybody else would think was holding me back. You could have put a gun to my head, I would have never admitted it. But that is the exact thing that was holding me back, fear. But one day, something snapped. I decided I would not watch a single video until I started creating. I had seen this concept a million times. People kept saying, stop consuming and start creating. But finally, something snapped in my head. I knew I had to get rid of all the imagined BS I was manufacturing in my head. The people that were gonna care and judge me. The microphone being perfect, the lighting being perfect. What am I gonna say? It has to be perfect. And shorten the time between the idea generation and the actual execution of creating. I didn't know how to express this idea at the time, but I heard it the other day perfectly. That old saying, knowledge is power, is bullshit. Knowledge is not power. In fact, it's the complete opposite. He said it like this: applied knowledge is power. All that stuff you've been learning, all the information you've been cramming and not using, the second you begin to actually apply that, it all comes back into play. It doesn't have to go to waste. After discovering what I was doing, I knew I had to make a huge change and it had to be dramatic. So I did the one thing that everybody says not to do, and I quit my job, putting my back right up against the wall. Seemingly everything seemed to be falling apart. However, for me, this is what sparked me to jump into making my first video ever. Although I had started, the process was still grueling for that first video. The doubt, the fear, spiraling ever so constantly. So I knew I had to do something to push me forward. This led to me making my thumbnail before I actually started recording anything. And I made sure this thumbnail represented all of the insecurities I had about myself as a huge fuck you to the fear and to what anybody else might think. I didn't really know what to make the first video about, so I made it to help the past version of me, as I had spent the past 16 years struggling with alcohol and drug abuse, digging myself in a hole ever so deep that I could not climb out of. My background, my filming, my editing, my God, was it abysmal. Terrible. But you know what? I had made it. I made the first video, and it was posted, most importantly. I hit the publish button. After being published, I saw that for 2 weeks, nobody even watched it. So guess what? I had been overthinking it for 3 years for no reason. So it came to me that I had been procrastinating for 3 years for absolutely no reason. And you can see that as a positive or you can see it as a negative. But seeing that made me know that all the BS I was creating in my head did not matter. And from that moment on, I wasn't going to stop. That's what that moment meant for me. It also made me realize that all the research I had been doing is coming into play. All the while, my passion for public speaking and communication was starting to be tied in. And posting that first video even made me realize that it ties into my career as well. I'm in sales. So the first time I was ever going to make a cold call, holy shit. The analysis paralysis, fear, about to throw up feeling before I just picked up that phone and called somebody was the exact same as when I posted this first video. And guess what? Same thing, nothing happened. And the lesson that I learned from posting that first video was beyond valuable. Consuming and researching content gives you this instant gratification and it makes you feel like you're doing something when you're not. And in fact, it actually has this inverse effect because the more knowledge that you consume, the more helpless that you will end up feeling. Because it is so much to put on your brain without doing anything, you end up doing nothing. Whereas doing the actual creation and the posting and the hard stuff hurts so much in the moment, or at least you think it is. The actual gratification you get when it's posted and the reflecting and the learning is where the real high comes in. So record that first piece of content, put a thumbnail on it, do the best editing you can, and hit the upload button. And stop imagining all of the people who are gonna care and all the shit they're gonna talk, because I promise you, it's not gonna happen. Because nobody cares yet. You have to force them to care by continuing to improve and finding that audience who's gonna find the value while you're growing and creating your channel. The confidence of taking action in this way gave me this mindset. And if you apply this mindset, I guarantee you it'll change your life. If you are even 51% sure something might be a good idea, do it. Stop thinking, stop assuming, stop trying to predict the outcome, just do it. After adopting this mindset, which I now call the 51% rule, it has opened so many opportunities for me versus what the fear would have closed off all these opportunities. I go walk up and talk to everyone, because if I'm 51% sure that I might create a good relationship by talking to that person, I go for it. I am now opening multiple businesses because I'm 51% sure that if this thing works out like I hope it does, it's going to expand my life beyond my horizon. I have even taken up extended periods of fasting where I don't eat for 3 days, 10 days, and even sometimes 14 days. Yeah, I had a lot of questions and concerns, but at some point I was 51% sure that this was gonna be perfect for me. So I went for it instead of thinking about it. Although my videos, and perhaps your videos, have not skyrocketed, even if our videos can help just one person, 30 views is still a room full of 30 people who we could be helping with the lessons that we already know. An example of this is how I go to the meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous and tell my story. The guys in there are struggling with the same problems that I had, just like the people out there in the world are struggling with the same problems as you. I sit down with these guys and I tell them what it was like, the same pain that I was feeling they were feeling, the loneliness. I tell them what happened, which was me coming into that program. And I tell them what it's like now, just like you can tell people what it's like now that you've learned your lessons and you are changing. I am 29 years old, and the experience, strength, and hope that I share with grown men that are 45, 50, 55, the hope that hearing that change can happen based on my experience actually brings some of the men that I've talked to literal tears in front of my eyes. That is what makes me getting out of the way and sharing my experience worth it every single time. That is why no matter what your imagination is telling you, starting this channel is no different, and starting your channel is no different. You are able to reach even a small group and then scale it up in a huge way that can change your life and change many others. Take it from somebody who has wasted 3 years. You do not have to waste the same 3 years or more. Everything that you are thinking is manufactured by you to stop you. You are the one creating the suffering in your head, which is now causing the suffering in real life. All in all, it took me 3 years to discover something that you can discover right now. 3 years that you could actually be using to build your channel and help people and change your perspective and change your entire life. Wasting 3 years knowing what I know now is something I wouldn't wish on anybody. And the best part is, once you have that 51% rule mindset, once you start thinking of everybody else besides yourself, you become excited to do this. I mean, look at me. Where am I even at? Because recording has now given me the opportunity to come do something like this. Like, I get so excited to come out here and do this, just so maybe a couple people can see it. And that's all we need. This process is the real reward. No, I don't have millions of views. I haven't even made $1 off this thing. But the effects that are taking place in my life due to content creation are evident. My relationships, my drive, my happiness, my communication skills are growing and improving at an exponential rate. And that's more than I could ever ask for. The one thing you should take from this video, the one thing that could have helped the past version of me, and the one thing that could help the current version of you, is start making content. Don't overcomplicate it. Pick a topic that would have helped the past version of you to where you are now. Do a little bit of planning, hit record, Make a basic thumbnail on Canva and upload it. Because you wouldn't have watched this video this far if you didn't really want this. It's not about the videos. It's not about making money. It's not about being famous. It's about helping people. Getting your message out there into the world and having a real impact. Thank you for watching.